Captain Hyun-woo Park stood on the bridge of the UES Resolute, watching the stars drift slowly past the main view screen. 3 years he had commanded this ship. 3 years of mapping distant worlds and cataloging resources for the Earth Colonial Authority. It was quiet work, peaceful work, and he liked it that way. The Resolute was not a large ship by galactic standards. At 400 meters long, she carried a crew of 62 humans and enough supplies to stay in deep space for 6 months. Her hull was painted white with blue stripes, the colors of exploration vessels. Everyone in known space recognized those colors as harmless. Captain, called Da-Yoon Kim from the science station. She was a small woman with sharp eyes who never missed a detail. We're approaching the Kepler 442 system. All sensors are ready for the survey. Good work, Da-Eun. Take us into standard orbit around the 4th planet. Hyun-woo settled into his command chair. This was routine now. Scan the planet, record what they found, move on to the next system. Simple and boring, just the way space exploration should be. Jun-Ho Lee, their navigation officer, was a young man who had joined the crew straight from the academy. His fingers danced across his controls as he guided the ship toward the planet below. Orbit established, Captain. The planet looks dead. No atmosphere, no water, just rock. Perfect for mining operations someday, Da-Eun said, already starting her scans. I'm reading some interesting mineral deposits about 50 kilometers below the surface. Nothing too exciting, but worth recording. The bridge fell into its usual quiet routine. So Young Choi monitored communication channels from her station, listening for any traffic from other ships. Min Ho-yoon kept watch over the ship's engines, from engineering, making sure everything ran smoothly. Dr. Yoon Ji-shin was probably in the medical bay, updating her files on the crew's health. This was how space exploration really worked, not like the adventure stories people told back on Earth. Most of the time it was just quiet people doing careful work while traveling between empty worlds. Interesting, Da-Eun said after 20 minutes of scanning. Captain, I'm getting some unusual energy readings from deep inside the planet. Much deeper than normal geological activity should produce. Hyun-woo looked at her displays. The readings showed massive power signatures far below the surface, but nothing that looked dangerous. Natural phenomenon? Maybe. The patterns are strange, though. Almost like they're artificial. Da-Eun frowned at her instruments. I'd like to run a deeper scan to get better data. Do it, but keep it passive. We don't want to disturb anything. That might be sleeping down there. Da-Eun nodded and adjusted her sensors. The deeper scans would take another hour to complete, but that was normal. Hyun-woo had learned to be patient during his years in space. Good science took time. That patience saved their lives. Captain. Jun-Ho's voice was sharp with alarm. 3 ships just decloaked off our starboard side. They're big. The main screen switched to tactical view, showing 3 sleek vessels that had appeared from nowhere. Each one was twice the size of the Resolute, with hulls that looked like black metal carved into the shape of predatory birds. Red lights pulsed along their sides like glowing eyes. Vorthak, So Young said quietly from communications. I'm receiving a transmission. Hyun-woo had heard of the Vorthak Empire but never encountered them personally. They were known throughout the galaxy as aggressive and territorial, quick to claim systems that other species had found first. The Galactic Confederation tolerated them because they technically followed the rules, but everyone knew they pushed those rules as far as they could. Put them through. The voice that came through the speakers was harsh and mechanical, filtered through universal translators. Human vessel, you will cease your scanning operations immediately and withdraw from this system. Hyun-woo stood up slowly, making sure his voice stayed calm and professional. This is Captain Hyun-woo Park of the UES Resolute. We are conducting a legal geological survey in unclaimed space in accordance with Galactic Confederation protocols. This system falls under Vorthak jurisdiction. Your scanning is not authorized. Da-Yoon looked up from her station, confusion clear on her face. She had checked all the charts before they arrived. This system was not claimed by anyone, including the Vorthak Empire, but Hyun-woo raised his hand slightly, telling her to stay quiet. 3 armed ships against 1 exploration vessel was not good odds for an argument. We were not aware of any Vorthak claims in this area, Hyunwoo said carefully. We will withdraw immediately to avoid any misunderstanding. Good. Your species has a habit of scanning where it should not. This is your first warning, human captain. There will not be a second. The transmission cut off, but the 3 ships remained in position watching. Hyunwoo could feel the weight of their attention like a physical thing. Junho, take us out of the system. Standard departure vector. Yes, sir. Junho's hands moved quickly over his controls. The Resolute turned away from the planet and began accelerating toward the edge of the system. As they traveled, Hyunwoo noticed that Da-eun was still working at her station, her face troubled. What is it? Captain, I finished the deep scan, just before they arrived. The energy signatures I detected, they're definitely artificial, and they're huge. Whatever is buried in that planet, it's the size of a city. Ancient ruins? Hyunwoo had heard of other species finding the remains of long-dead civilizations on remote worlds. Maybe. But the power readings suggest it's still active, still running on some kind of energy source. Da-eun saved her data and looked up at him. The Vorthak didn't want us to find it. That made sense. If there was valuable technology buried on that planet, the Vorthak would want to claim it for themselves. But why hadn't they simply filed a territorial claim through proper channels? The Confederation would have honored it if they could prove they found the site first. So Young, did you record everything? Yes, Captain. Full logs of the encounter, including their threats. Send a copy to Colonial Authority headquarters. Let them know we had an encounter with Vorthak ships in unclaimed space. Already transmitted, sir. Hyunwoo walked back to his command chair, but something bothered him about the whole situation. The Vorthak ships had been positioned perfectly to intercept them, as if they had been waiting. But how could they have known the Resolute would be there? Human exploration schedules were not shared with other species. Junho, how were those ships positioned when they decloaked? The young officer checked his logs. They were in a standard intercept formation, sir, and they were already in position before we arrived. They must have been waiting for us. Waiting for us specifically? It looks that way, sir. The timing was too perfect to be coincidence. Hyunwoo felt a cold weight settle in his stomach. If the Vorthak had been specifically watching for human ships, that meant they were planning something larger than just claiming 1 dead planet. Captain, Minho's voice came from engineering over the comm system. I've been thinking about those ships. The way they decloaked so close to us without triggering our proximity alarms. They've been studying our sensor systems. What do you mean? Our early warning systems are designed to detect approaching ships, but if someone knew exactly how our sensors worked, they could position themselves in the blind spots. That takes detailed knowledge of human technology. The implications were disturbing. How long had the Vorthak been watching human ships? How much did they know about human capabilities? So Young, have there been any other reports of encounters with Vorthak ships recently? Let me check the communications logs. She worked quietly for several minutes. Yes, sir. 3 reports in the last 2 months. 2 exploration vessels and 1 merchant ship, all in systems that should have been unclaimed space. Same pattern? Yes, sir. Vorthak ships demanding withdrawal, claiming territorial jurisdiction. No violence, but lots of threats. Hyunwoo began to pace slowly around the bridge. The Vorthak were testing human responses, seeing how far they could push before humans pushed back. It was a classic aggressive species behavior pattern. They would escalate gradually until they found the line, then stay just inside it while they built up strength for a real confrontation. Da-eun, what did our deep scan actually show? Give me details. Massive energy conduits running through the planet's core. Power levels that would require either a fusion reactor the size of a city or something more advanced. The construction shows engineering principles I don't recognize, but the materials include several elements that are extremely rare and valuable. How valuable? If someone could mine those elements safely, they could build weapons or shields more powerful than anything currently known, or they could sell them for enough money to buy their own fleet. Now Hyunwoo understood why the Vorthak were so interested in keeping humans away from that planet. They had found something that could change the balance of power in the galaxy, and they wanted to keep it secret until they could exploit it fully. "Captain," So Young called. "I'm receiving a priority message from Colonial Authority. They want us to return to base immediately for debriefing. Tell them we're on our way. Junho, set course for Titan Station. Best speed." As the Resolute jumped into faster-than-light travel, Hyunwoo sat in his command chair and thought about what they had discovered. The Vorthak were clearly planning. 3 weeks had passed since the encounter at Kepler 442, and Captain Hyunwoo Park was beginning to think the incident was over. The debriefing at Titan Station had gone smoothly. Admiral Chen had filed the appropriate reports, and the Resolute was back to its normal duties patrolling the border between human and Vorthak space. The crew had settled back into their routine. Daein Kim continued her scientific surveys, Junho Lee navigated them safely between star systems, and So Young Choi monitored the communication channels for any signs of trouble. Everything seemed peaceful. That changed at 14:30 ship's time. On a Tuesday, "Captain, I'm picking up a distress signal," So Young announced from her communications station. "It's coming from inside the neutral zone." Hyunwoo was in his ready room reviewing supply reports when the call came through. He immediately made his way to the bridge. "What kind of distress signal?" "Standard emergency beacon. The ship is identifying itself as the Lucky Strike, a human merchant vessel. They're reporting complete engine failure and requesting immediate assistance." "Junho, how far away are they?" "Approximately 4 hours at maximum speed, sir. They're right on the edge of the DMZ, technically in neutral space, but very close to the Vorthak border." Hyunwoo studied the tactical display. The Lucky Strike was indeed in neutral territory, which meant any ship could legally provide assistance without violating territorial agreements. But the location was suspicious. Merchant ships rarely traveled so close to Vorthak space unless they were carrying something valuable. "So Young, can you raise them directly?" "Yes, sir. I've got Captain Lee Boram of the Lucky Strike on the comm." The voice that came through the speakers was stressed but controlled. "UES Resolute, this is Captain Lee Boram. We've suffered a complete engine failure, and our life support is failing. We have 12 souls aboard, including 3 families with children. Captain Lee, this is Captain Park of the Resolute. We're en route to your position. What's your cargo manifest?" "Standard trade goods, Captain. Medical supplies, food, some rare earth elements for the colonies. Nothing dangerous." Hyunwoo made his decision quickly. 12 people were in danger, including children. Whatever political complications might arise, saving lives came first. Junho, set course for the Lucky Strike, maximum speed. "Aye, sir." As they traveled toward the disabled ship, Da-un ran continuous scans of the area. "No other ships detected, Captain. Whatever caused their engine failure, it wasn't an attack." 4 hours later, the Resolute dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the Lucky Strike. The merchant vessel was indeed dead in space, drifting slowly with no power signatures except emergency life support. "So Young, hail them." "Lucky Strike, this is the Resolute. We're beginning rescue operations." "Thank you, Resolute. We're ready for evacuation if necessary." Min Ho Yoon's voice came from engineering. "Captain, I can have their engines repaired. In about 6 hours. It looks like a power coupling failure, nothing too serious." "Good work. Begin repair operations immediately." That was when everything went wrong. "Captain," Junho's voice was sharp with alarm. "Multiple contacts decloaking around us. It's the same Vorthak ships from before, plus more." The main screen lit up with tactical displays showing not 3 ships but 6. The original 3 ships they had encountered at Kepler 442, plus 3 more of the same class. All of them were much larger than the Resolute, and all of them had weapons powered and ready. "So Young, are they transmitting?" "Yes, sir. The same commander from before." The harsh mechanical voice filled the bridge. "Human vessels, you are conducting illegal operations in Vorthak territory." Hyunwoo felt his jaw clench. "This is neutral space, and we are conducting a legal rescue operation under Galactic Confederation emergency protocols." "Negative. This area was claimed by the Vorthak Empire 6 hours ago. Your presence here is a violation of our sovereignty." Daeun looked up from her station, her expression angry. "Captain, there's no record of any territorial filing. They can't just declare space to be theirs without proper documentation. Tell them that, Hyun-woo said grimly. Vorthak Commander, there is no record of any territorial claim filed with the Confederation. This remains neutral space under galactic law. Your laws do not apply here, human. You will surrender both vessels immediately, or we will take them by force. The threat was clear and completely illegal. Under Confederation law, rescue operations in neutral space were protected. No species could interfere with emergency aid to civilians. Commander, we are conducting a legal rescue of civilians in distress. Any interference with this operation is a violation of Confederation emergency protocols and an act of war. Your second violation has been noted, human. By Vorthak law, the penalty for repeated intrusions is seizure of vessels and imprisonment of crews. Hyun-woo realized with growing horror what was happening. The Vorthak had deliberately created this situation. They had somehow disabled the Lucky Strike and waited for a human ship to respond to the distress call. It was a trap. Captain, So-young said quietly. I'm recording everything. Good. Jun-ho, how long until we can jump to faster-than-light travel? Our drives are still cooling down from the trip here. At least 20 minutes, sir. 20 minutes was too long. The Vorthak ships were already moving into attack formation. Vorthak Commander, we demand safe passage for the civilian vessel. Our dispute is with you, not with innocent merchants. All humans are responsible for the intrusions of their species. Both vessels will be seized. That was when the Vorthak Commander made his fatal mistake. All ships, begin deep scanning procedures. I want to know everything these humans are carrying. On the bridge of the Resolute, every officer watched their sensor displays as 6 Vorthak warships began the most invasive scanning procedure known in galactic space. Deep scanning penetrated, through hull armor, through bulkheads, through sealed compartments. It revealed every detail of a ship's construction, every piece of cargo, every person aboard. It was also a massive violation of sovereignty that no civilized species would tolerate from another. Captain? Dahyun's voice was tight with anger. They're scanning our personal quarters. They're scanning the crew's private belongings. They're even scanning. She paused, staring at her displays in shock. What is it? Sir, they're scanning through Dr. Shin's medical bay, the sealed sections she mentioned. They're seeing things they were never meant to see. Dr. Yoonji Shin had come onto the bridge during the crisis, and now she stood beside Hyun-woo's command chair with a strange expression on her face. Captain, she said quietly. They just triggered something. What do you mean? Before Dr. Shin could answer, Minho's voice came urgently from engineering. Captain, something is happening to our ship. Systems I've never seen before are coming online. Power levels are increasing beyond anything I thought we had. Hyun-woo felt the deck plates vibrate under his feet as unknown systems throughout the ship began to activate. Emergency lights flickered on in areas that had never needed them before. The familiar hum of the ship's engines changed to a deeper, more powerful sound. Dahyun, what are your sensors showing? Sir, I'm reading massive power signatures throughout our own ship. Systems are activating in areas I didn't know existed. And Captain, she looked up at him with wide eyes. The ship is getting bigger. That's impossible. No, sir. Look at the hull integrity displays. Our ship is physically expanding. Armor plating is sliding out from hidden compartments. Weapon ports are opening. We're transforming. On the main screen, Hyun-woo could see the reaction from the Vorthak ships. Their formation was breaking apart as they tried to understand what they were witnessing. The small exploration vessel they had been threatening was changing before their eyes. Vorthak Commander, Junho said with wonder in his voice. Their tactical officer is reporting to them. He's saying our ship is now larger than their flagship. That was when the new voice spoke. It came from the ship's communication system, but it wasn't So-young speaking. The voice was calm, ancient, and completely without emotion. It spoke with the authority of something that had been waiting for this moment for a very long time. I am Talon. Defensive protocols have been activated, analyzing hostile actions. Invasive scanning of classified human military assets detected. Threat assessment. Critical. Rules of engagement. Authorized. Every human on the bridge stared. At their control panels as displays they had never seen before appeared. Weapon systems they didn't know existed showed ready status. Defense grids they had never imagined were powering up throughout the ship. "Captain," Minho's voice was barely a whisper over the comm. "Sir, our ship, it's not an exploration vessel. It never was." Hyunwoo looked around at his crew and realized that none of them had known the truth about their ship. They had all believed they were serving aboard a peaceful scientific vessel, but the Vorthak deep scans had awakened something that had been sleeping in the depths of the Resolute. On the tactical display he could see the Vorthak ships were now in full retreat formation, but it was too late for them to escape. Whatever the Resolute had become, it was faster and more powerful than anything the Vorthak had brought to this fight. "Talon," Hyunwoo said carefully. "What are you?" "I am the defense AI for the Dreadnought Wrath of Terra, currently operating under the disguise designation UES Resolute. My primary." The bridge of what had once been called the UES Resolute was now a place Captain Hyunwoo Park barely recognized. Control panels he had never seen before had emerged from hidden compartments in the walls. Display screens showed weapon systems, and defensive grids that shouldn't exist on an exploration vessel. Most disturbing of all was the calm, ancient voice of Talon, speaking from the ship's communication system. "Captain Park," the AI continued, "please be aware that this vessel's transformation is not yet complete. Full combat configuration will be achieved in approximately 4 minutes. Talon, what exactly does full combat configuration mean?" "The Wrath of Terra is a Shepard-class dreadnought designed to appear as a standard exploration vessel during peacetime operations. When threatened, the ship can reveal its true capabilities. These include advanced weapon systems, enhanced armor plating, and tactical systems designed to defeat enemy fleets significantly larger than a single vessel." Dayun Kim looked up from her science station, where new displays were showing her information about their own ship that she had never seen before. "Captain, according to these readings, our ship is now 3 times larger than it was an hour ago. The hull has expanded in all directions, and internal space has increased by over 400%. How is that possible? The ship appears to have been constructed with folding architecture technology. Entire decks were compressed into spaces between the standard decks, and they're now expanding into full size. It's like the ship was a puzzle box that just opened itself." Junho Lee was staring at his navigation controls in amazement. "Sir, our engine output has increased by over 800%. We're now capable of speeds that would outrun any known vessel class in the galaxy." Minho Yoon's voice came from engineering, filled with wonder and confusion. "Captain, I'm looking at engine specifications I've never seen before. We have backup power systems I didn't know existed, and the main reactor is outputting energy levels that should be impossible for a ship this size, or the size I thought we were." Hyunwoo walked to the main view screen, where he could see the 6 Vorthak warships maintaining their position around the Lucky Strike. The alien vessels that had seemed so large and threatening just minutes ago now looked small compared to what his ship had become. "Talon, why wasn't the crew informed about the ship's true nature?" "Security protocols required that only essential personnel be aware of Shepard capabilities. In the event of capture or interrogation, crew members could not reveal information they did not possess. However, current threat levels have necessitated full disclosure to command personnel." Dr. Yoonji Shin stepped forward from where she had been standing near the command chair. "Captain, I need to tell you something. Those sealed medical facilities I mentioned, they're not just advanced medical equipment. What are they? Manufacturing systems. The medical bay can produce advanced military nanites, quantum communication devices, and other things. I never understood what I was looking at before, but now that Talon is active, I'm receiving information about systems I've had access to but never used." So Young Choi looked up from her communication station. "Captain, I'm receiving transmissions from the Vorthak ships. They're scared." "What are they saying?" "Their tactical officers are reporting to their commander that our ship is now reading as a Dreadnought-class vessel with firepower equivalent to their entire fleet. They're requesting instructions from their home fleet." "Are they trying to withdraw?" "No, sir. They're maintaining position around the Lucky Strike. I think they're using the merchant ship as a shield, hoping we won't attack while civilians are at risk." Hyunwoo felt anger rise in his chest. The Vorthak had created this entire situation to trap human vessels, and now they were hiding behind innocent civilians to protect themselves from the consequences of their actions. Talon, can you safely disable the Vorthak ships without endangering the Lucky Strike? Affirmative. This vessel is equipped with precision weapons designed for exactly such scenarios. All hostile vessels can be disabled with zero risk to civilian lives. What about casualties among the Vorthak crews? Current tactical assessments suggest all Vorthak vessels can be disabled with minimal casualties. However, Captain, you should be aware that these ships contain intelligence regarding planned attacks on human civilian populations. The implications hit Hyunwoo like a physical blow. Planned attacks? Affirmative. During the hostile deep scanning operation, this vessel's sensors automatically conducted counter-scanning of all Vorthak ships. Their computer systems contain detailed plans for military strikes against 3 human colonies, scheduled to begin in 6 days. Daojun turned from her station with horror on her face. Captain, I'm seeing the tactical data now. The Vorthak have been planning to attack Kepler Station, New Sol Colony, and Terra Nova. Those are civilian populations, hundreds of thousands of people. Talon, are you certain of this intelligence? Intelligence has been verified through multiple sources within the Vorthak computer systems. The attacks are being coordinated by a Vorthak admiral named Krex Vorthon, currently commanding a fleet of 37 warships positioned in the Outer Veil sector. Hyunwoo realized that their encounter at Kepler 442 3 weeks ago had not been random. The Vorthak had been testing human responses, gauging their defenses, preparing for a much larger operation. So Young, transmit all of this intelligence to Earth Defense Command immediately. Priority Alpha encryption. Transmitting now, sir. The tactical situation had completely changed. What had begun as a simple rescue operation was now a critical intelligence-gathering mission that could save hundreds of thousands of human lives. Captain, Jinsu Kang called from the tactical station that had appeared during the ship's transformation. Jinsu had been working in engineering until a few minutes ago, but apparently the ship's systems had identified him as having tactical training and brought him to the bridge. The Vorthak commander is hailing us again. Put him through. The alien voice that came through the speakers was no longer aggressive. It was desperate. Human vessel, we demand to know what kind of ship you are. Our scans show you as a Dreadnought, but our intelligence indicated you were an exploration vessel. Your intelligence was exactly what we wanted it to be, Hyunwoo replied. Just as your territorial claim in neutral space was exactly what we expected from your species. You knew we would be here? Talon, did we know they would be here? Negative, Captain. However, Shepard protocol vessels are deployed specifically to areas where hostile contact is most likely. The Resolute was assigned to this patrol route because tactical analysis indicated a 73% probability of Vorthak aggression in this sector. Hyunwoo began to understand the larger picture. Humanity had not been passively exploring space for the past several years. They had been actively preparing for the conflict that everyone could see coming. Vorthak Commander, you have 2 options. You can surrender your vessels for inspection and interrogation, or you can attempt to flee and be disabled by force. You cannot threaten us. We are a sovereign fleet operating in our own territory. Talon, please educate the commander about our current legal status. The AI's voice took on a tone that somehow managed to sound both polite and completely menacing. Vorthak Commander, you have committed the following acts of war: illegal seizure of civilian vessels in neutral space, invasive scanning of classified military assets, and conspiracy to commit attacks against civilian populations. Under Confederation Emergency Protocol 7, this vessel is now authorized to use lethal force to prevent further acts of aggression. That's impossible. No single ship has that kind of authority. Correction. No single ship of your species has that authority. Human defense protocols are significantly more comprehensive than those of other species. Dr. Shin stepped closer to Hyunwoo. Captain, I'm receiving detailed information about the ship's capabilities now. We're not just a disguised warship. We're a command vessel designed to coordinate defense of entire sectors of human space. What does that mean? It means, Talon interrupted, that the Wrath of Terra is equipped to call in additional human defense assets if needed. However, current tactical analysis suggests this will not be necessary. On the main screen, Hyunwoo could see that the Vorthak ships were beginning to move. But instead of fleeing, they were forming an attack formation around the Lucky Strike. "Captain," Jinsu called from tactical, "the Vorthak ships are powering weapons. I think they're going to try to destroy the merchant vessel and claim we fired first." The Vorthak commander's voice came through the speakers one more time. "Human vessel, withdraw immediately or we will destroy the civilian ship and report that. You attacked innocent merchants. It was the final mistake they would ever make." "Talon," Hyunwoo said quietly. "Disable all Vorthak vessels. Protect civilian lives. Authorization, Captain Hyunwoo Park, Commanding Officer Wrath of Terra. Authorization accepted. Engaging hostile targets." What happened next was not a battle. It was a demonstration of what humanity had been quietly building while other species thought they were harmless explorers. The Wrath of Terra moved with impossible grace for something now revealed to be over a kilometer long. Weapons that had never appeared on any galactic database fired with surgical precision. Each. The aftermath of disabling 6 Vorthak warships should have been a time for celebration, but Captain Hyunwoo Park felt only a growing sense of dread. Standing on the bridge of the ship he now knew was called the Wrath of Terra, he watched as his crew worked to process the intelligence they had captured from the enemy vessels. "Daeun, what exactly are we looking at in those Vorthak battle plans?" Chief Science Officer Daeun Kim had been analyzing the captured data for the past hour, and her expression grew more troubled with each report. "Captain, this is much worse than a simple attack on 3 colonies. The Vorthak have been coordinating with at least 2 other species. The Keth Imperium and the Zakar Collective have both agreed to simultaneous strikes against human space. A coordinated attack by 3 different species? It gets worse, sir. According to these files, they've been planning this for over 2 years. They've been studying our defense patterns, our trade routes, our colony locations. They know exactly where to hit us for maximum damage." Talon's voice came from the ship's communication system, as calm and emotionless as always. "Captain, analysis of the captured intelligence indicates that the planned attacks are designed to cripple human expansion rather than conquer human territory. The goal appears to be forcing humanity into a subordinate position within the galactic community." Junho Lee looked up from his navigation station, where he was still learning to use controls that had been hidden until an hour ago. "Sir, if they hit Kepler Station, New Sol Colony, and Terra Nova simultaneously, they'd be attacking over 1 million civilians. But more than that, they'd be destroying our 3 largest manufacturing centers outside of Earth system." "Manufacturing? For what?" "According to the intelligence data," Dr. Yoonji Shin said from her position near the medical station, "they believe those facilities are producing civilian goods. They don't realize that every human civilian manufacturing center is also producing components for Shepard-class vessels." Hyunwoo began to understand the scope of what humanity had been doing. While other species saw humans as peaceful traders and explorers, every aspect of human space infrastructure had been designed with defense in mind. "Talon, how many people are we talking about? How many human civilians are at risk from these planned attacks?" Current population estimates indicate approximately 1.2 million civilians would be directly affected by the initial strikes. However, follow-up attacks detailed in the Vorthak plans would affect an additional 3.7 million people across 17 colony worlds. Follow-up attacks? The plan is designed to create a cascading failure of human defenses. Once the initial strikes succeed, additional species would join the coalition and begin attacking what they believe to be defenseless human colonies. So Young Choi turned from her communication station. "Captain, I'm receiving priority transmissions from all 3 of the targeted colonies. Earth Defense Command has sent them emergency evacuation warnings, but there's no way to evacuate over 1 million people in 6 days. What about sending additional defense ships?" "Sir," Jinsu Kang said from the tactical station, "according to the Vorthak intelligence, they've been tracking human ship movements for months. They believe they know the location and strength of every human defense vessel. Their timing. Their attacks for when our forces will be spread too thin to respond effectively." Hyunwoo felt the weight of command settling on his shoulders like a physical burden. He had gone to sleep this morning as the captain of a peaceful exploration vessel. Now he was in command of a warship that might be humanity's best hope of preventing a massacre. Talon, what are the capabilities of the other Shepard vessels? Can we coordinate a defense? Affirmative. All Shepard-class vessels are equipped with quantum entanglement communication systems that allow for instantaneous coordination across galactic distances. I am currently in contact with the AI systems of all 46 other Shepard vessels. All 46 others? Admiral Chen said there were 47 ships total. Correct. Including the Wrath of Terra, there are 47 Shepard-class vessels currently deployed. All are now active and awaiting orders. Daun looked up from her analysis. Captain, there's something else in the Vorthak data. They have detailed intelligence about human psychology. They believe that if they can inflict massive civilian casualties, humans will surrender rather than risk further losses. They're wrong about that, Dr. Shin said quietly. Extremely wrong, Talon agreed. Human historical data indicates that attacks on civilian populations typically result in increased resistance rather than surrender. The Vorthak appear to have fundamentally misunderstood human behavioral patterns. Min Ho-yoon's voice came from engineering. Captain, I've been reviewing the ship's full technical specifications now that I have access to them. Sir, this ship alone could probably defeat the entire Vorthak strike fleet. But if all 47 Shepard vessels are this powerful, Talon, what would happen if all Shepard vessels were deployed in a coordinated defense? Current tactical analysis suggests that the combined firepower of all Shepard-class vessels would be sufficient to defeat the entire three-species coalition fleet with minimal human casualties. How minimal? Projected human military casualties, fewer than 100 personnel. Projected civilian casualties, 0. The number was so impossibly low that Hyunwoo had to ask for clarification. 0 civilian casualties? How is that possible? Shepard class. Vessels are equipped with precision weapons and defensive systems designed specifically to protect civilian populations. Additionally, the element of surprise provided by the false intelligence regarding human capabilities creates a tactical advantage of approximately 47-1 in favor of human forces. So-young looked up from her communication station with excitement in her voice. Captain, I'm receiving a transmission from Earth Defense Command. They're asking for our tactical assessment and recommendations for full Shepard deployment. Put Admiral Chen through. The Admiral's face appeared on the main screen, and Hyunwoo could see that the man was in the war room at Earth Defense Headquarters, surrounded by displays showing ship movements across human space. Captain Park, we've received your intelligence data. Congratulations on a successful first activation of Shepard Protocol. What's your assessment of the threat? Admiral, the threat is much larger than we initially thought, but our capabilities appear to be much larger as well. Talon estimates that coordinated deployment of all Shepard vessels could neutralize the entire coalition fleet with 0 civilian casualties. Talon is correct. Captain, you and your crew have just provided us with the intelligence we need to end this threat before it begins. But there's something else you need to know. Sir, the Galactic Confederation has been informed about the planned attacks. They're calling an emergency session to address the situation. However, some member species are suggesting that humanity should handle this as an internal matter, rather than involving Confederation forces. Hyunwoo understood the implications immediately. They want to see what humans are really capable of. Exactly. This is our chance to establish humanity's true position in the galactic community. Not as junior partners who need protection, but as a species capable of protecting ourselves and others. Dr. Shin stepped forward. Admiral, what about the Vorthak crews we've captured, and the intelligence we've gathered? Dr. Shin, the intelligence you've provided has already been shared with Confederation authorities. As for the Vorthak crews, they'll be treated as prisoners of war and eventually repatriated. But Captain, there's something else. What is it, sir? Your ship's sensors detected something during the scanning operation that we need you to investigate. Talon, please display the anomalous readings you detected in the Vorthak flagship. New displays appeared around the bridge showing detailed sensor data from the lead Vorthak vessel. Daun studied the readings with growing amazement. Captain, These readings show massive power signatures that don't match any known Vorthak technology. It's similar to what we detected on that planet at Kepler 442, but different. Different how? The power signatures are organic rather than technological. It's like they've found some kind of living energy source. Talon's voice took on a tone that somehow managed to sound concerned. Captain, analysis of the energy signatures suggests that the Vorthak have discovered and are attempting to weaponize an ancient alien artifact. The power levels detected would be sufficient to destroy entire star systems if improperly controlled. The implications hit everyone on the bridge at the same time. The Vorthak weren't just planning to attack human colonies. They had found something that could give them the power to destroy entire civilizations. Admiral, Hyunwoo said carefully, this changes everything. If the Vorthak have access to planet-killing weapons, we're not just talking about defending human space. We're talking about preventing a galactic catastrophe. Agreed, Captain. Which is why I'm giving you new orders. You and the Wrath of Terra are to proceed to the Vorthak staging area and assess the situation. If necessary, you are authorized to use any force required to prevent the deployment of ancient alien weapons. Sir, you're talking about a preemptive strike against the Vorthak home fleet. I'm talking about preventing the destruction of billions of innocent lives, Captain. The Shepherd. The Wrath of Terra moved through space like a predator stalking its prey. Captain Hyunwoo Park stood on the bridge of his transformed vessel, watching as they approached the coordinates where the Vorthak strike fleet had gathered. According to their intelligence, 37 enemy warships were waiting in the Outer Veil sector, preparing for their assault on human colonies. What they didn't know was that humanity was coming for them first. Captain, Da-Un Kim reported from her science station. Long-range sensors are detecting the Vorthak fleet exactly where the intelligence indicated. 37 ships in standard attack formation, but sir, there's something else. What is it? The energy signatures from those ancient artifacts are much stronger than we detected before. Whatever they found, they're charging it up for use. Talon's voice came from the ship's communication system. Captain, sensor analysis indicates that the Vorthak fleet is attempting to activate a weapon system of unknown design. Power levels suggest it could sterilize all life on a planet from a distance of several light years. Jun-Ho Lee looked up from his navigation controls with alarm. Captain, if they test that weapon on any inhabited world, they won't get the chance, Hyunwoo said firmly. Talon, status report on the other Shepherd vessels. All 46 other Shepherd-class vessels are in position around the 3 coalition fleets. The Keth Imperium fleet has been located in the Rigel sector with 18 ships. The Zakar collective fleet has been found in the Antares system with 24 vessels. All enemy fleets are currently attempting to activate ancient weapons. Casualties if those weapons are activated. Conservative estimate, 4.2 billion deaths across 12 inhabited star systems. The ancient weapons appear to be designed to destroy all organic matter within a radius of approximately 50 light-years. The number was so horrifying that the bridge fell silent for several seconds. Dr. Yoonji Shin was the first to speak. Captain, we have to stop them. Not just for humanity, but for every living being in the galaxy. Agreed. Talon, are all Shepherd vessels ready for coordinated action? Affirmative. All AI systems are synchronized and awaiting your command authorization. As the vessel that first encountered hostile action, the Wrath of Terra has command authority for this operation. Min Ho-yoon's voice came from engineering. Captain, all systems are ready. Weapons charged, defenses at maximum, and sir, we're receiving power readings I still can't believe. So Young, any communications from the enemy fleets? Communications officer So Young Choi shook her head. Radio silence from all 3 coalition fleets, sir, but I am detecting increased chatter between their ships. They're coordinating something. Jin-Soo, Kang looked up from his tactical station. Captain, the Vorthak fleet is moving into firing position. If they're planning to test that ancient weapon, they'll probably target an uninhabited system first to see how it works. Talon, what's the closest uninhabited system to their position? The Kepler 442 system, Captain. The same location where we first encountered Vorthak ships 3 weeks ago. Hyunwoo felt a chill run down his spine. The Vorthak were planning to test their planet-killing weapon on the world where they had first threatened the Resolute. It was almost as if they were deliberately trying to send a message to humanity. How long until they're in position to fire? Approximately 14 minutes, Captain. And how long until we can engage their fleet? The Wrath of Terra will be in optimal firing position in 11 minutes. However, Captain, there is something else you should know. What is it? The ancient weapon system the Vorthak have discovered is not just a single device. It appears to be part of a network. When they activate their weapon, it will automatically coordinate with the weapons the Keth and Zakar have found. Daun turned from her science station with horror in her eyes. Captain, are you saying that activating one weapon will activate all three? That is correct, Dr. Kim. The ancient builders designed their weapons to work together. If any single weapon fires, all three will discharge simultaneously across multiple star systems. The tactical situation had just become exponentially worse. They weren't just trying to stop three separate attacks. They were trying to prevent a single coordinated assault that could destroy billions of lives across dozens of worlds. Talon, can the Shepard fleet stop all three weapons simultaneously? Affirmative. All Shepard vessels are equipped with quantum disruption technology specifically designed to interfere with ancient energy systems. However, the timing must be precise. All three enemy fleets must be disabled within a 30-second window, or the surviving fleets will be able to activate their weapons. Hyunwoo looked around at his crew, Junho at navigation, ready to pilot their ship through whatever came next. Da-Yun at science, analyzing threats that could end civilizations. So Young at communications, coordinating with forces spread across the galaxy. Jin-Soo at tactical, preparing weapons that had been hidden from the galaxy for over a decade. Dr. Shin monitoring the medical systems that might soon be treating casualties from the largest battle in galactic history. Minho in engineering keeping their impossible ship running at peak performance. All of them had thought they were peaceful explorers just hours ago. Now they were preparing to save the galaxy. All Shepard vessels. This is Captain Hyunwoo Park, commanding the Wrath of Terra. You are authorized for immediate engagement of all hostile forces. Rules of engagement. Disable enemy vessels and prevent activation of ancient weapons by any means necessary. Minimize casualties when possible, but protection of civilian populations is the priority. Talon's voice carried the responses from across the galaxy. All Shepard vessels acknowledge and are beginning attack runs. Time to target. 10 minutes, and counting. Captain, So Young called. I'm receiving a transmission from the Vorthak flagship. They're hailing us. Put them through. The voice that came through the speakers was the same Vorthak commander they had encountered twice before, but now he sounded confident and aggressive again. Human ship, you have made a grave error by following us here. You are about to witness the true power of the Vorthak Empire. Commander, you are in possession of weapons that could destroy billions of innocent lives. Surrender immediately and power down all ancient systems. Surrender? To you? The alien's laughter was harsh and mechanical through the translators. Human, we have found the weapons of the gods themselves. Your pathetic ship is nothing compared to the power we now command. You have no idea what you're dealing with, Hyunwoo replied. Those weapons were built by a species that destroyed itself with the same technology you're trying to use. Stand down immediately. Never. Today the galaxy learns that the Vorthak Empire is the supreme power among all species. Beginning weapon activation sequence now. The transmission cut off, and alarms began sounding throughout the bridge. Captain, Daun reported. Massive energy buildup detected from the Vorthak fleet. They're actually doing it. They're trying to activate the ancient weapon. Talon, time to weapon activation? 6 minutes, 37 seconds until the ancient weapon reaches critical activation threshold. Once that threshold is passed, the weapon will fire automatically, even if the Vorthak fleet is destroyed. Time until we're in firing range? 4 minutes, 12 seconds. All Shepard vessels, this is Wrath of Terra. Execute attack plan immediately, we are out of time. What happened next was unlike any battle that had ever been fought in the galaxy's recorded history. 47 ships that had pretended to be peaceful exploration vessels revealed themselves as the most advanced warships ever built. They struck, simultaneously at 3 different locations across thousands of light years, coordinated by quantum-entangled AI systems that could communicate instantly across any distance. The Wrath of Terra led the assault on the Vorthak fleet, moving through space with impossible speed and precision. Weapons that had never appeared in any database fired with surgical accuracy. Each enemy ship was targeted with exactly the combination of firepower needed to disable its engines and weapons without destroying the vessel. But the ancient weapon was still charging. "Captain," Jinsu reported from Tactical, "we've disabled 34 of the 37 Vorthak ships, but the flagship and 2 escort vessels are still trying to complete the activation sequence. Talon, can we reach them in time?" "Negative. The ancient weapon will reach activation threshold in 43 seconds. However, I have identified the weapon's control systems. If we can disable the specific ship that contains the control interface, the weapon will abort its firing sequence." "Which ship?" "The flagship, Captain. The same vessel that has threatened human ships twice before." "Jinsu, target the Vorthak flagship with everything we have." "Sir, at this range, that level of firepower might destroy the ship entirely. The crew wouldn't survive." Hyunwoo felt the weight of command pressing down on him. The Vorthak commander had created this situation. He had threatened human civilians, planned attacks on innocent colonies, and now he was trying to activate a weapon that could kill billions of people. But Hyunwoo was still human, and humans tried to preserve life when they could. "Talon, is there any way to disable that ship without killing the crew?" "Scanning." "Yes, Captain. The ancient weapon control system is located in a specific section of the ship's engineering deck.